To San Francisco and show you the highlights. Game 4, T-Wolves and Warriors. This is just not the series we would love to have been because of that, because Steph Curry continues to sit out. Now watch this. Will, Anthony Edwards during pregame, and then he does the night-night celebration.
Can I just give you my real reaction to how I see him play?
But look,
damn! Oh my God!
Oh, 2 people?
What?
30-footer.
He just yanked him right to left, back into Draymond Green, and that's a bucket. And look what he tells him. Give me a close-up. Yeah, you can't blink with me. You can't. You can't do that.
I think we all know what he was saying. Wolves down 2 going into halftime. And then they just went crazy.
Through traffic.
Oh my God.
Timberwolves go on a 17-0 run that turns this from a game into not a game.
Thanks for coming.
Come on, Jimmy.
And going back the other way and watch Anthony Edwards. Why give it up when you can just do that?
You know, I hated that line. He just wants it more. I hate it, but that's so true in this situation.
He's got all the attitude in the world. 30 points and 5 assists for him. And you know who was magnificent last night as well, as we see Edwards capping off that run. T-Wolves putting it away. How about Julius Randle last night?
31 points, right?
By the way, if the Knicks had lost, they would have been sick.
How about Julius Randle?
He's not a big that's playing like a small.
No, he's not. He doesn't do that.
He's been terrific. How about Randle in this series and in general for Minnesota, UD?
I really think Edman has to unlock Randle to be his best version. I think it's more mental. We all understood what he can do with the basketball in his hands, but I think mentally he's playing as free as he's ever been, and he's playing as confident as he's ever been. I think this is his best version right now.
The result is Minnesota up 3-1 after Steph goes down with the hamstring in Game 1. The Timberwolves have won 3 straight. This is the second 3-game losing streak under Steve Kerr in the playoffs. The other came in the 2016 finals. That was the 3-1 comeback by LeBron's Cavs. Minnesota has been outscored by 12 points per game since Game 2. We got working here at Get Up. We're live above the Heineken River deck at Pier 17. UD is here. Jay is here. Alan Hahn is here. Big Perk will be with us momentarily. It was a night that in a variety of ways, at least one of them just awful, completely reshaping the NBA as we know it. Let's go to the Garden. Game 4, Knicks and Celtics last night. Jayson Tatum was spectacular, by far his best night of the series. Alan, he single-handedly closed that first quarter with those 3 threes and gave the Celtics the big lead.
It was amazing, the shot making for him, and you see the distance as he's walking into three. The Knicks are trying to pick up at the three-point line, and he's taking them from much deeper.
Celtics had an 11-point lead after 1. Back and forth it would go in the second, but then, Jay, it was Jalen Brunson who went nuts in the third, single-handedly willing the Knicks from behind and into the lead.
I mean, literally the term death by 1,000 paper cuts is what he does. I mean, this is how he slices and dices you up. That's the mouse in the house, but yet he is the mouse.
He's crazy. Give me that cheese.
What are you seeing here, UD, from Jalen Brunson working so hard?
I mean, Derek White's a great defender, take nothing away from him, but Jalen Brunson's going straight through his chest, getting shots over top, backing him down in the post, and pretty much getting what he wants.
And finding OG Anunoby there. Jalen Brunson scored or assisted on 25 points in the third quarter. The Knicks have a 3-point lead. As you can see, the fans are going nuts on 7th Avenue. Then it's Jayson Tatum for Boston. This will tie the game plus the free throw. He would score 42. It was by far his best game of the series. Back and forth it goes. Anunoby, yes for 3. The Knicks up by 3. 4 minutes to play. The Knicks are up by 3. It's Brunson. Look at this move.
That's that matchup you want, and you have a rear view contest from Derek White. That is a tough shot to make.
He had 39 points and 12 assists. Then it's Mikal Bridges.
Ball back, baby.
These fadeaway middies are
shot.
so tough, man.
Knicks by 7. Then out of a timeout, next Celtic possession. This is the awful moment. We're going to see a turnover, and OG Anunoby is going to get an uncontested dunk that gives the Knicks a 9-point lead. But what really matters is that visual. Jayson Tatum on the ground. He would actually call the timeout himself. And you can tell from a player's face. Forget that they're carrying him. Forget that he's in a wheelchair. You can see Jay Will on his face. He knows how badly injured he is.
It's one of those times, and obviously everybody was tweeting about it last night, from LeBron to everybody. You hate to see the game in this way for the type of play that Jayson Tatum was having down the stretch.
It is worth saying there'll be an MRI today. There's been no official diagnosis, but it looked bad, and you could hear it in the voices of the Celtics after the game.
I think everybody's concerned, with Jayson. I'm not sure how bad it is. Didn't look great. But I think everybody is, kind of more concerned with that.
What he means to us, what he means to Boston. just very tough for us, and more importantly, you know, it's just really tough for him right now. So as a group, we just have to, you know, rally together, because obviously we've lost our leader and the guy that gets us going.
Once again, there has been no official diagnosis, but all of us who are around sports all the time, we are now, unfortunately, too familiar with the testing they do, particularly to determine whether or not it's an Achilles. There'll be an MRI today. UD, what's your first blush reaction to what looks like a devastating injury to this brilliant player?
I mean, like you said, we don't know what it is, but it reminded me of the same thing with Damian Lillard. A loose ball, you try to go get it, you push off, you put a lot of pressure on that Achilles area, and you just go down. But it's just tough, and my heart goes out to Jayson Tatum and his family and everything that's going on right now. Coming back from a wrist injury, just battling through all of that just to come back and play great basketball.
I mean, I feel the same way, UD. I mean, literally, you're talking about a guy who is so active defensively. This is by far his best defensive game as well. He had 4 steals, 8 rebounds, 42 points. By the way, several possessions before, he fell hard on that same wrist and went to the free throw line, right, and made both free throws and battled through it. So to see the game end this way for him, it just leaves a lot of questions about where this franchise goes next year, and also how they can actually regroup to have a chance to win Game 5 back at home.
He is a superstar about which we talk more about the things he doesn't do when he doesn't do them than any other superstar in sports. Last night, he did everything. Last night, Alan, he single-handedly had the Celtics with a chance to win that game in the fourth quarter. And as you said earlier, if he doesn't, I don't care that it's 9 points. No one knows what would have happened in that game if he doesn't get hurt. That takes every bit of air out of everything. I'm trying to say he was so good last night. It is gut-wrenching to see what happens to him.
I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns was talking about it after the game, saying I was defending him as best I could, and he was making shots that you just have to say that's a great shot. And the Celtic offense after the first quarter really slowed down. The threes weren't dropping for them. I believe they went 7 for 22 the rest of the game after a 9 for 14 start. My math could be off, but I've had a late night. But he was unreal. And so even though that became a 9-point game on that play, there was still 3 minutes to go. I saw him be part of a 12-0 run that took 90 seconds. That's how this Celtic offense works. So there was no telling where that game was not decided. The building was excited. The place was rocking, and the Knicks were playing well. But that game was far from over while he was still in the game by the way he was making shots.
He's a Duke guy. He was there the one season. Obviously, you guys are all, there's the fraternity, as we know. So you've known him since he was 17 years old, and he set foot on campus. Tough to watch what happened last night.
Well, especially because he was coming to his own. I mean, look at all these narratives that have been floating around about, well, maybe Steve Kerr was on to something during USA basketball. You know, why is he settling for so many jump shots? This team takes so many threes. And the biggest thing for him was trusting what his game was, and he did that. And by the way, a guy who led the Celtics franchise in most 50-point games with 42, with 3 minutes left to play in the game, everybody in the world knew who was going to be getting the ball down the stretch, and we were waiting for it.
So he had 29 in the third, and with no free throws. With no free throws. I mean, that's just cooking without grease. That's
he finishes 16 of 28 from the floor last night. He made 7 threes. He had 42 points and 8 rebounds. So he was magnificent. Again, there will be an MRI today. We don't know for certain what the injury is. It seems almost impossible to imagine he's going to play tomorrow night in Game 5, and that's where the Celtics and Knicks have to go from here. So, UD, you are a leader, and you were one of the great team leaders. If you're this, we're going to sit here and say this series is over. They're not going to, right? What are they going to say, and what can the Celtics do to try and keep this series alive at home tomorrow night?
Well, I'm talking to Big Al right now. I know Al, Uncle Al, you a Gator. You look around that locker room, you look those guys in the eye, you have that conversation. Listen, if anybody told me we come home and all we had to do was get one game, we can get one. You only focus on getting one. You don't focus on winning a series. You take it one game at a time. We have championship character in here. We have a championship coach. We have championship DNA, and we have pride. So we come home and we get one. They're going to say all the right things. They're going to do all the right things. But inside, they're definitely a little shaken about what's going on with Jayson Tatum. It's just a human condition that kicks in.
Think about it. They haven't won a home game in this series yet. The first 2 games at home, they lost, and they lost them in dramatic fashion by blowing leads. So there's some pride on the line as well. Imagine losing a playoff series and not winning a single game. So the Knicks saw them come out with force in Game 3, a little bit of desperation. You can expect it to be even twice as much for Game 5.
I'll tell you 2 things. I mean, Brown made some dumb plays, some dumb fouls. He has to be smarter. He can't afford to get out of the game because they need him in the game with his ability. I mean, that little third quarter run, that's when they made a transition. Jayson Tatum started to run out of steam, and that's typically when Jaylen Brown makes his move in that unit. And then secondly, are they going to start Porzingis? Is it time? Like, how does he feel? What is going on?
Well, who else? You're going to start Pritchard?
Who you start? I'm saying, like, it was time for Porzingis. Whatever you've been battling through, time to get through it, and time to put your big boy pants on.
I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on with Porzingis. He is such a difference maker for this team. I have frequently said, going back to last year, this is prior, obviously, and independent of the Tatum injury, he's the cheat code. Yes. When he's on the floor and he's healthy, they're unbeatable. That's why they won the title.
I just want to say for the record, and UD knows this, like, nobody's healthy at this time of the year. Everybody's battling through stuff.
Right.
So, like, I hear people on...
But something's wrong with him. Like, I don't know what it is, but there was obviously something wrong that he just can't play.
It's affecting his energy. This is what they've talked about with him and what he has told everybody about this virus, whatever he's battling. It's energy. It's that he loses energy really fast. You were talking about it, UD, about conditioning and how you recover. His recovery is just not there, so they can only play him in spurts just so he goes to the bench and rests. But he's getting more and more minutes as the series goes on.
Well, he may have the whole summer to recover.
Exactly. This might be a time where he's just got to get through.
To me, he's not their best player. Of course, you have Jayson Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown, but he is their most important player. Like you said, he's the guy who takes them to another level. You saw the impact that he had when he came back last year. You saw what he did in the Madison Square Garden during the season when he hit all those threes.
Oh, man.
He's a guy at 7'3" who launches it from 2-3 feet from behind the three-point line. You can't contest that. And he also is a rim protector. So he does change the game. It sucks that he's not at his best version right now, especially with Jayson Tatum going down. But like you said, this is an opportunity for Jaylen Brown to step up and lead those guys.
So we sit here, and so it's easy for us to say things. The series feels over. No. If the Knicks are up 3-1 and Jayson Tatum appears to be out for the remainder of it, and again, we'll get some sort of official, it's easy to sit here and say, you're saying you don't believe it.
I was on a team that was up 3-0 on those guys. Ooh. They came back and tied it up. Now it was a different team with Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about that. That was, for those who don't remember, that's the Eastern Conference Finals of 2 years ago. The Miami Heat leading 3-0 against the Celtics, and you got pushed to a Game 7.
Scared the hell out of us. But I told our guys, there's no team in America that can beat us 4 straight games. Show me that team. Any team, who's going to beat us 4 straight games? So we were very confident going into Boston, having to win one game.
For Game 7.
For Game 7.
But as far as you believe the Celtics,
I believe they can get one.
As banged up as they are, they get a game and then see what happens.
I'm a heart guy. I'm always going to bet with my heart, and I'm always going to go with the character.
What happened in that Game 7?
We won.
But what else happened to Boston?
Yeah, they fell apart.
We beat them we beat the pants off them.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that, Adam. I don't remember. I don't remember that. I just remember the final score. I don't remember, Alan.
And it's not about that. Like, it's not. Look, I mean, the reality of this, for all the people who are going to say, well, the Knicks, they're going to win because Tatum. That doesn't mean anything. At the sports, we don't remember that stuff forever. The Celtics last year, they had an easy path to a championship. There's no asterisk on the banner. It's not going to have anything to do with it. One of the ways you win a championship in modern sports, well, in any time, in any era of sports, is by staying healthy.
Yep.
Yes,
the team that stays healthy winds up winning the title. The Knicks all got hurt last year. No one felt sorry for them. So that's not what this is about. This is not about whether the Knicks win becomes tainted or anything like that, because it does not. And history will not judge it that way. What it becomes about is, do the Celtics have enough with all of that talent, and they still have a ton of talent on that roster, to win a game at home tomorrow night, force a Game 6, and see what happens in what will be a very, very pressure-packed environment at the Garden on Friday?
I think they do, and I'll just say this. Jayson Tatum was the only player who was in offensive rhythm yesterday. Derek White started off that way, then he faded quickly. Nobody else had a rhythm to them. So if they could shoot the ball better and defend at a higher level,
that's the part. Jaylen Brown, after the game, that was the thing he harped on the most. He said that their defense was unacceptable. The way they played defense, he did not like how they approached the game, how they got picked apart by Jalen Brunson, and then how they let others get going as well. So if they're going to make a comeback in this series, we can't talk about them and their threes and their high volume of threes and all. This is going to be a comeback that is on the foundation of their defense.
NBA